going to begin in a reclined position. When we come onto our back sides, please know that there is option here to stay seated if coming onto your back side and lying down isn't an option for you. So, two choices here. I would imagine one's going to work for you. Lying down in this reclined position or finding a comfy seat. If legs out long do not work for you when you're lying down, you can always bend in your knees. Walk your feet further apart and let the knees stack against each other. Right away, we're going to bring our hands gently to our belly. Allow your eyes to close, and we'll just take a brief moment to arrive. Hands are on the belly so that you can notice the gentle rise and fall of each breath. So if you're finding that we're holding our belly tight, or that when we inhale, we're sucking our belly in, see if you can soften your belly so that when you inhale, the belly gently rises and expands. And we're going to find a few breaths here just like that, taking note of how that inhale gently lets the belly rise, and the breath also travels up into the rib cage and chest. Exhale can be through the mouth or through the nose, whichever works for you today. Follow the cues of your own body. Like if it feels good to let out a sigh, go for it. Last two rounds of breath here, just like this. Staying heavy in the body with each exhale. Allowing yourself to land here in your practice today. Last breath in, belly expands, rib cage expands. Exhales a sigh that leaves the mouth. Beautiful. Everyone allows their eyes to open here. The gaze comes back up. If you're seated, stay put right where you are. If you're lying down, you're going to gently bend in one knee at a time. Very carefully, we're going to tip a little bit to the left so that your right glutes lift, and we're going to slide our right thumb underneath the right glutes and then land them back down. We're going to do the same on the second side. So tip on over to the right, you're lifting the left glute, the left thumb slides underneath that left glute, bring it back down. We've built a bit of a foundation for ourselves here as we gently bring legs up to the sky. You can have a gentle bend in the knees if you'd like. You can even play with pressing the heels up toward the sky a little bit and offering a breath to the backs of the legs. We can stay put just like this, or with your next exhale, we're going to blow a nice big breath out toward the ceiling. And when we can blow no more, we're going to hold breath for just a brief moment. Legs start to travel down toward the earth. And an inhale bends knees, brings knees towards you. Send the legs up long toward the sky again. Take a big breath in. Exhale, blow it out. And when there's nothing left to blow, hold for a moment as the legs drop down toward the earth. Knees bend, inhale. Send those legs high to the sky. Last time like that, blow the breath out. All the way to the ceiling, all the way to the sky, until there's nothing left to blow out. Pause with that breath. Lower the legs down toward the earth, just creating a bit of stability in the belly. Bend in the knees, take your breath in. Send the legs high to the sky. Pause here. We're going to lose the foundation underneath us. That is, we're going to shift so that we can take our hands out from underneath our glutes. And from here, hands can either rest alongside the body. You can keep them snuggled in with the glutes if you like that foundation, or we're going to bend in the elbows, place fingertips behind the neck, and lift head, neck, and shoulders up off the earth. Bending in the knees here. We're going to find some bicycle breathing here, and it looks a little like this. It's 2 inhales and an exhale. And while we're breathing like that, we are going to pedal our bicycle legs. So if you are still seated, follow along with the breathing. 2 inhales, exhale, okay? And the ha can be through the mouth or through the nose. So let's try it out. So start moving your bicycle legs, and we'll find our breath. 2 inhales, breath out. One more breath like that. Lower the head if it's lifted. Lower the feet to the earth, knees stay bent, arms come alongside the body. Arms can hang alongside the body as well if you are seated. Maybe do a few neck rolls here, and if you're lying down, let the head roll or rock, sway from side to side. From here, we're going to make our way onto our belly or a version of child's pose. So I'll show you where we're headed. If you're already lying down, we're going to tip to the side and bring ourselves right onto our bellies. But if you are seated, you're going to do something similar. I'll show you where we're headed. You're going to either come onto your belly or option to bring the knees as wide as the mat, sink your hips back toward your heels, and we'll land with Sphinx pose arms. So as you can imagine, people that are on their bellies are also going to land with Sphinx pose arms. Like so. You can play with how close the legs are together or how far apart they are. Definitely ground down through your elbows, the forearms, and the palms as you lift up through the heart center. Nice long back of the neck. So we are either here or we're here. Okay? So find your breath. If back bends aren't your friend, and if the child's pose version of this doesn't quite work for you, you can always rest here with forehead on the earth. It's a back bend in itself. If you are on your belly, that is in the Sphinx pose with legs out long underneath you, we're going to gently tuck the tailbone toward the earth, lift up through that lower belly, and then branch out through the crown of the head here for 2 rounds of breath. So lower belly is engaged, gaze is soft. Beautiful. If you're in the Sphinx pose with the hips touching the earth, press into your hands, splay the elbows out, start to lower bow forward. Slide your hands underneath your shoulders. Press your way up through table. Everybody joins in a version of child's pose, bringing knees nice and wide. Sink the hips back toward the heels. You can land here with the Sphinx pose arms, or lower your heart down toward the earth. Let the head rest as well. And maybe arms are overhead, reaching and offering all kinds of space for that torso. Take 2 rounds of breath here in your version of child's pose. Good, beautiful. If head is resting down on the earth, lift your gaze. Walk your hands back toward you. Tuck the toes. You might need to lean a little more forward to tuck the toes. And we'll keep walking hands toward the knees as we rock up into a froggy squat position. So heels are lifted, and we start to snuggle on in here. Fingertips can touch the earth. If this is way too much and doesn't work for you, you can always come partway up like so. With fingertips touching the earth, if you're down here, you're going to slide the right hand up to the right thigh and turn to the right at the same time. Gentle twist. Drop your right hand down to the earth or fingertips. Slide the left hand up to the left thigh. Turn to the left. Gentle twist. Left hand comes back down to the earth. We're going to start to lower the heels and lift the hips nice and high. Adjust your feet as we make our way into our version of forward fold. So create all kinds of space for yourself as we hang out here with bent knees, heavy head, heavy arms, heavy torso. If hanging upside down is not your thing today, option to be halfway up here with a nice flat back, long back of the neck too. So shoulder blades make their way toward each other. Wherever you are, whether it's halfway up or all the way forward, offer a breath to the whole back side of the body. Beautiful. Folks with dangling arms here with heavy heads, start to walk your hands up the legs until the hands find the thighs. Everyone comes into a flat back here, maybe even gently pressing into the legs and straightening the legs. Beautiful. Gentle bend in the knee if it's not there already. Sweep the hands out to the side, all the way up we rise. Reach it high to the sky, nice full body stretch. Hands meet at the top, bring them down to heart center. Take one round of breath here. Nice. Drop the hands down, reach them out all the way up to the sky. Keep your right hand and arm reaching. Drop or slide your left hand down the left side of the body. Start to tip on over to the left. Option to place hand on the left hip. Option to reach up and nab that right wrist with your left hand. One more big breath here. Inhale, up we come, straighten up, up, up through center. Left hand starts to slide up that leg and reaches high to the sky, just like that right hand and arm are reaching. Go ahead and start to drop the right hand down, slide it down the right leg. Start to tip on over to that second side, opposite side here. You can keep this right arm long, or option to bring right hand to the right hip, or option to nab the left wrist with your right hand. Are we breathing? Can you allow the breath to continue to flow here? Inhale, up we rise, reach both hands high to the sky. Soften in the knees, feet are about hip width apart. Bend deeper in the knees, and we'll go ahead and swan dive forward. Hands can land on the thighs. Flat back here for a brief moment. With your next exhale, find a cat stretch here. That is, drop your head down, round your back up. Nice. Let's find the opposite from here. Start to make your heart move its way up and forward and through. Or the opposite. Yes, good. All right. From here, drop your head down. That is, start to round through the back side of the body. Cat stretch once again. And then now, slide hands all the way down, forward fold, bent knees still. Heavy head, heavy arms, option to be halfway up. Big breath for everybody. Beautiful. Bend your knees enough to plant the hands or fingertips on the floor. We're going to walk the hands out, and as we start to walk hands out, we're making our way into a plank pose. Option to have knees on the mat. Find a breath. You can play with lowering the hips a little bit, maybe play with lifting the hips a little bit. See if you can land somewhere right in the center. Next exhale lowers you down to the belly, or option to come into child's pose. Untuck the toes if they're tucked. Press into the hands that are underneath the shoulders. Lift head, neck, and shoulders here. We'll find baby cobra. Next exhale, bow forward. Pause for a moment and walk the hands off the mat. Keep elbows bent, fingertips touching the earth. You can stay put right here, gazing at the earth, or we're going to inhale, lift head, neck, and shoulders, and exhale, bows. Find that again. Inhale, lift head, neck, and shoulders. Exhale, brings you back down. Inhale. Last time, just like this, a little gecko cobra going on. Exhale with a beautiful. Slide hands back underneath the shoulders. We'll tuck the toes here. Pressing your way up through tabletop on all fours. Settle in table for the briefest of moments, and then we'll step the right foot forward next to the right hand. Walk your way up, that is, take your hands to that bent front knee. Up we rise. You can keep the knee down, or we can lift that back knee and find our lunge here. Option to stay put just like this, or sweep the hands and arms out all the way up to the sky. One more breath. Beautiful. If we're up higher reaching, go ahead and swan dive forward. All hands, everyone's hands, touch the earth. We're going to step it back to plank pose. Exhale, lowers down to the belly. Option to sink into child's pose. Inhale up, either baby cobra or full cobra. Heart lifts. Breath continues to flow. On your next exhale, bow forward. Walk the hands off the mat. Fingertips touch, elbows bend. Stay put or inhale, lift head, neck, and shoulders. Exhale, bows. 2 more times, just like that. Last time. Slide hands underneath the shoulders. Tuck the toes up through tabletop position. Settle in table before stepping left foot forward. Create space for yourself here. Hands come to that front bent knee, torso rises up. Staying put or reach hands out all the way up. Option 2, lift that back right knee up off the mat. Are we breathing? Can we stay soft in our gaze here? One more breath. If your hands and arms are reaching up, we're going to swan dive forward, land the hands to the earth. Step this foot back, this front foot to plank pose. Exhale down to the belly, option for that child's pose. Hands underneath the shoulders, inhale, head, neck, shoulders, maybe the parts of the torso start to rise. Exhale, bows. Hands come off the mat, tented fingers, bent elbows. Inhale, up we come. Exhale, bows. Inhale, up. Exhale, bows. Last time. Nice. Hands slide underneath the shoulders. Tuck your toes up through either table or plank. And then send hips high for a nice upside down V, our downward dog. Option to be in tabletop position, maybe even playing with a little cat-cow action. Find a breath. Heavy head if you're in downward dog. Walk it out if you need to. Move in and out if you need to. Beautiful. Bend deep in the knees. Step, hop, or walk feet toward hands. Forward fold here. Halfway up we rise. Exhale, bows, bends deep in the knees. Sweep hands and arms out to the side. All the way up we rise. Reach it high to the sky. Hands meet at the top. Bring them down to heart center. Find a breath. Soften in your knees. Adjust the feet, knowing we're coming forward. Drop hands down, reach them out all the way up to the sky. Exhale, swan dive forward, landing halfway or all the way forward. Uttanasana, forward fold here. Everybody meets halfway up, hands to shins or thighs. Everybody bows forward and bends knees to touch the earth. Walk it back to plank pose. Option for knees to be on the mat. Next exhale, lowers down to the belly. Option for child's pose. Inhale for back bend of choice. Exhale, bows. Inhale up through plank or table. Exhale, downward dog. Weight shifts to the left foot. Sweep the right leg out long. Bend in that right knee. Start to shift your way forward like a three-legged plank. And then we'll step the right foot into next to the right hand. I'm going to get you to bring your hands, both hands on the inside of that right foot. So if you need to walk that right foot closer to the edge of the mat, go for it. Everybody lowers that back left knee. Beautiful. Left hand stays to the earth. Sweep your right hand out to the right, all the way up to the sky. Gentle twist. Exhale brings hand that's reaching down to the earth. Pause here for a moment. Find a little rocking and swaying as we sink in and offer a few more big breaths to that right hip. You can even play with swiveling on the right foot. So swivel on the right heel, the right toes kind of like step off the mat. And then maybe sink a little lower in that left hip, maybe turning to gaze to the right. Beautiful. Let's square things off again. So start to face forward once again. Swivel that right foot so the toes are facing forward. Tuck the back toes and lift that back knee. We're going to step it back to downward dog. Option here for table pose, hanging out with some cat-cow, or offering big breath into this downward dog, this upside down V shape. Weight shifts to the right foot. Sweep that left leg out long behind. Bend in the left knee. Shift the weight forward, three-legged plank. Step left foot next to the left hand. Get those hands on the inside of the left foot. Start to wiggle and snuggle into this side of the lunge. Maybe left foot wiggles a little more to the left side of the mat. Everybody lowers that right knee. Right hand or right fingertips stay to the earth as we start to turn to the left. Go ahead and reach out and up to the sky. Gentle twist here. Hand that's reaching lowers down to the earth. We're going to pause and hang out here in this lunge for a few more moments, whether it's you hanging out here doing a little rocking or swaying. If being low to the earth just doesn't suit you, you know that you can always create more space by coming up higher, landing hands on that bent knee. Maybe you want to play with swiveling on that left heel, left toes come off the mat, and maybe we start to lower a little more in that right hip, turning toward the left. So lots of opportunity to explore and breathe here, whether you're keeping it super simple, classic lunge, or more of this like yin style dragon lunge. But all of it serves the hips well. In this case, we're offering a few more big breaths into that left hip. Gorgeous. All right. Let's square things off if we're off to the side a bit here. Swivel to get those left toes pointing forward. Tuck the back toes, lift that back knee. We're going to step it back into downward dog. Breath flows here. Nice. Bend deep in the knees. Step, hop, or walk, feet to hands. Halfway up we rise. Exhale, bows. Bend deeper in the knees. Sweep hands and arms out to the side. All the way up we rise. Press into those feet as you reach fingertips to the sky. Hands meet at the top. Bring them down to heart center. Big, big breath. Nice. Good work. Keep your right foot forward. Maybe step a little more to the right side of the mat. Step your left foot back and land it. Bending into the right knee. As we land that left foot, heart comes toward the short end of the mat. Hands to hips, and we lift the gaze where the ceiling meets the wall. Stay put right here, or we're going to go ahead and reach hands and arms high to the sky. Warrior one. Each exhale as you just sink in, maybe even a little deeper. Keep that right knee tracking over that second right toe. Let that be your pillar so we're not collapsing inward there. One more breath. Gorgeous. Keep your legs where they are. Hands and arms sweep down in front. and they reach behind. And when we start to reach for that wall behind us with those fingertips, roll shoulders up, back, and down. You can stay put right here, or you're going to lift the back heel and start to wiggle and snuggle and hinge a little more forward. Beautiful. Pressing through both sides of that back heel if it's lifted. Reaching up through the crown of the head and reaching up through your heart center. Nice. From here, bend in your left knee. And as you start to bend in your left knee, you're going to use that left leg as a bit of a springboard. Hands and arms sweep out front, and we step left foot forward. Reach high to the sky. Full body stretch. Hands meet overhead. Bring them down to heart center. Good. Left foot stays where it is, but maybe actually, walk that left foot a little closer to the left side of the mat. Step the right foot back, and as you step it back to land the right foot, it invites you to bend into this left knee. So warrior one, Virabhadrasana one on the second side. Really take the time to snuggle in here. Heart's going to that short end of the mat. Hands can come to hips. Lift the gaze to where the ceiling meets the wall. Settle in, feel into those feet. Let that front left leg be your pillar. Stay put here or sweep hands and arms out all the way up for that full expression of warrior one. Take note if you're reaching too high for the ceiling and like the shoulders are shrugging towards the ears. Can you keep a nice long neck on both sides, but let the shoulders melt away from the ears as fingers and arms continue to reach. Beautiful. One more round of breath here. Perfect. If hands and arms are reaching, start to drop them forward. And as they drop forward, they're going to keep on going. They're going to start to reach for that wall behind you. When they reach for the wall behind you, roll shoulders up, back, and down, creating space in the front of the shoulders and the chest. Stay put right here, or lift that back right heel. When you lift the back right heel, you'll start to snuggle in. Maybe we lean a little more forward here. Maybe we continue to reach through the crown of the head, reach through that heart center, and the fingertips reach for the wall behind you. Pressing through both sides of that back right heel if it's lifted. Big breath. You're doing awesome. Bend in the right knee. It's going to be your springboard. Hands and arms start to reach out front all the way up, and we go ahead and step that right foot forward. Reach hands and arms high, high, high. They meet at the top. Bring them down to heart center. Pause, find a breath. Nice big sighs here. Maybe even let the head rock or sway a little from side to side. Losing any tension in the neck, in the jaw. Beautiful. From this spot you're in, you're going to step wide. So I like to lift my right foot and step it wide. You can do your left if that's what you're feeling called to do. But as you step wide, both toes point forward to that long side of the mat. Hands and arms come wide. So a nice 5-pointed star. Swivel on your right heel, right toes point to the short end of the mat. Bend in your right knee and adjust your stance here as we turn to gaze over that right middle finger, warrior two. Right palm faces the sky. We'll go ahead and start to hinge and reach. Right hand reaches for the sky, left hand gently touches the back of the left leg. Exhale back down to warrior two. One big warrior breath. Straighten the front knee. Swivel or tick-tock the feet to find our second side. Left toes point to the short end of the mat. Left knee bends. Adjust your stance here. Hips are open to that long side of the mat as the hands and arms open wide as well. We'll turn to gaze over that left middle finger. Left palm turns to the sky. Inhale. Start to reach that left hand up, up, up. Right hand gently lands as we find a breath. Gorgeous. Back down to warrior two. Nice. One last warrior two breath here. It's a breath of courage. It's a breath that
Let's go of anything you've been carrying around all week. No need of it. You're doing great.
Straighten that front leg. Both feet come facing forward. From here, we'll reach hands and arms out all the way up to the sky. Beautiful. Let them clasp overhead. We'll find a Kali Mudra or steeple fingers. Adjust your feet, like maybe the heels come in a little bit, toes point out, and we'll bend in the knees. Sinking down. Torso rising up out of the hips. Strong legs. Beautiful. Gorgeous. We're going to release the mudra overhead. So hands and arms part. Arms grow wide. Yeah. Straighten your legs. Step your feet closer together. Hands make their way to heart center. Shift the weight to the the right leg. So I'm going to bend in my left knee. You can too. So we're looking to keep a nice strong right leg. Don't collapse in the hip like this. Like see if you can keep it good and holding and steady. Coming into tree pose. So let's place the bottom of the left foot first on that right ankle. Left knee opens. Left hip opens. Stay put right here, or side, you want to bring this left foot a little higher. Whether it's all the way up to the thigh, maybe it's part way up the leg. Lock your gaze on something that's not moving. Make that your drishti. Connect with it. Find your breath. Beautiful. Let's take this left knee and bring it forward. We'll straighten through that left leg, step the left foot, feel into that left foot. Really press down into that left foot as we bend in the right knee, getting ready for the second side. So we continue to steady ourselves, find your foundation, open that right hip up, land that right foot on the left leg, whether it's down near the left ankle, maybe it's a little higher, maybe it's all the way up into the thigh. One is not better than the other, it's not a competition. It's about finding this shape, this tree pose. And enjoying this process of breathing through balance, through finding this balance. It's never complete stillness. There's always a bit of motion. And that's good. We don't want rigid, right? You need that balance of stability and ease. Stiram and sukham. Soften in that spot between the eyebrows, soften in your jaw for this last moment on this side of tree pose. If you need to move in and out, or if you have been moving in and out, whether you like it or not, have a sense of humor with yourself, some patience, it's all good. Every day is different. Take the lifted knee and bring it forward. Straighten through that right leg, step it on down. The hands and arms swing at the side of the body. Gently bend in your knees and just let the hands and arms swing like we're swinging buckets. And we've got this little bounce going on with our knees and our legs. Take a big breath in. Exhale out. Find a big shoulder roll. Legs become still. Gorgeous. Walk toward the top of your mat and bring hands to heart center. Settle feet into the earth. Drop your hands down, reach them out all the way up to the sky. Exhale, swan dives forward. All the way, or option to be halfway. Big breath for that whole back side of the body. Bend in your knees enough so that you can touch the earth. Walk yourself back into a downward dog. Two rounds of breath here. Bend in your knees, lower them to the earth. Sweep the legs, the bottoms of the legs, out to the side. Find your way onto your bottom. From here, we're going to bring legs out front, but we're also going to bring them wide in a V shape. So In seated positions, I like to have a cushion or a folded blanket underneath. And if you've got one nearby, you go ahead and nab it. If you don't have one nearby, no worries. So we're gonna find this V with the legs. Try to move back so you can see. Gently pressing through the heels, reaching toes up to the sky. Perhaps this is where we need to land right here, with hands gently resting on the lap or beside us. Or we're going to start to lift up through that heart center and hinge a little more forward. Maybe hands or fingertips land in front of us, still gently pressing through those heels, toes facing the sky. Option here to have a gentle bend in the knees if you like. So we'll stay put, or if it's available to you, to walk a little more forward with the hands, to hinge a little more forward toward the earth, go for it. So everyone's going to look a little bit different because we bend and move in different ways. We're put together differently. So where you are right now, whether you're like all the way up, part way forward, or all the way forward, you're doing great. Offer full big breath down with those beautiful active legs, gently pressing through the heels, toes reaching for the sky. We'll find one more round of breath here. Gorgeous. If you're all the way forward, even part way forward, start to walk those hands back towards you, torso rises up. Place your fingertips underneath your knees and we'll find a bend in the knees. And bring soles of the feet together in front of us, finding butterfly legs. So taking note of what works for you today with your butterfly legs. Is it you leaning forward? Is it you placing hands beside you and keeping yourself upright with lots of space in the torso? Wherever you land here, whether hands are on the legs or the feet or gripping the toes, we're going to soften in that jaw. And we'll find 2 rounds of breath here. Beautiful. Gorgeous. Hinging back upright if we're leaning forward. Moving any props from underneath us and setting them aside. We're going to make our way down onto our back side. Just like we began, if lying down is not for you, we have option here to lie on our side as well. So if you know where you want to head right now in this moment, in terms of lying out flat or lying on your side or finding a seated meditation. We've come full circle for our little practice today. If you're in a position that allows you to bring hands on the belly, we're going to find that here. And the hands rest gently on the belly as your eyes start to close. Let your head be heavy. Let each part of you that's connecting with the earth right now sink a little deeper. We're going to find 3 rounds of Ujjayi breath. It's an ocean sounding breath. If you're not familiar with Ujjayi breath, it's exactly like fogging a mirror, that but with the mouth closed. So that same constriction of the throat, but with the mouth closed. Ideally, it should happen on the inhale and the exhale. This ocean sound we're creating. Sometimes the exhale is a little bit easier. But I encourage you right now in this moment to play with Ujjayi breath. Allow it to do its job, which is to slow down your breath, your breathing, to create a soft sound that draws you a little more inward and holds your attention. After your next exhale, let go of any control over the breath. Just breathe as you normally would. If hands are still resting on the belly, you can allow the hands and arms to come alongside the body, or even let them flop overhead. Last few rounds of breath here in this stillness. Giving ourselves a chance to receive our practice today. If you have the luxury of being able to stay here a little bit longer, please take that time. You can pause the video. You can shut it off completely and drift off into this beautiful, focused stillness. If you're done with your practice today, I invite you to take one more big breath in. Belly expands, rib cage expands. Exhale through the mouth, a nice big sigh. If hands and arms are overhead, slowly float them back alongside the body. Bending in one knee at a time if you're on your back side. You can let the knees gently sway from side to side if that feels good. This can also happen from a seated position. But eventually the knees are going to fall to a side where we allow ourselves to fully tip on over and pause for a brief moment. Pressing into your top hand, help yourself up into a seated position. Hands make their way into Anjali Mudra, prayer position at heart center, slight bow of your head. Knowing that we're all connected in really awesome ways. We'll raise this mudra up a little so that thumbs touch that third eye, space between the eyebrows. And we'll greet each other here at the end of our practice by bowing forward and saying namaste. Namaste.